On today's Tech Help for Churches, my podcasting workflow. Hi, and welcome again to another episode of Tech Help for Churches. This is the show where every week I help you with church, new media, social media, the internet for your church. My name is Paul Allen Clifford. So we're in the midst of a series on podcasting, and it occurred to me that I don't think I've shared exactly the process that I go through, so I thought that I would share that with you right now. First off, I record all my podcasts as videos, then later I rip the audio. So this show is available on YouTube. It's available on my website. You can subscribe to the audio podcast, or you can subscribe to the video podcast and have it delivered to your device or computer. Either one. That's just the way that I do it. So if you were going to do it the way that I do it, how would you do it? Well, first off, you would have your lights set up pretty much all the time. I have my key light over here, my fill light over here, and right behind me is my backlight. I move out of the way, you can kind of see it going through my new cool webbed chair. And so that's it. By the way, if you're listening to the audio, this may or may not be a more visual show. I'll try and describe stuff. So that's the way my lights are. My camera is set up most of the time. I've got it on the tripod. I've also got spots marked on my floor so that I can move the tripod out of the way so that I can get out of my office, which is basically right through the camera. So I was walking around, and then it occurred to me I could just make tape marks on the floor and then move it out of the way, move it back. So that's the basics of the audio, or the video and the lighting. Now the audio, I've got this Audio-Technica Pro 70 wired lav that I wear, and that runs through my, over here I have a Behringer Eurorack 1202 mixer, and also through a Behringer Multicom Pro XL compressor limiter gate. So that way it cuts down some of the ambient sounds with the gate and just makes it more pleasant in general. So that's how it comes out of the Behringer into my camera, which is a Canon T3i. So that records everything as it is. Basically, the intro that you saw just a moment ago, I record, I pause for a second, then I go ahead and do the rest of the show. Next, I take the card from the camera, copy it over to my external hard drive, fire up Camtasia. I'm really more of a Final Cut Pro guy, but my last version was Final Cut 7, and it doesn't like the video files that my Canon T3i generates. So I went with other software that I had. Since I do the screencast show on Tuesdays, I have screencasting software, and Camtasia has a built-in video editor, so that's what I use. I've already got the project set up, so all I have to do is open up the old project, import the new video, delete the old video, chop off the beginning and end. After the intro, I cut that, reposition the media just a little bit, and export it. It exports as a video file, which I will then upload to YouTube and churchstreaming.tv, which posts the replay of these files. Now for the audio portion, I have it set up to, when I double click on the video, it opens up in QuickTime 7. Now QuickTime 7 I've chosen very specifically. It's still supported, as is QuickTime 10 on my Mac, and QuickTime 7 allows me to export it as an AIF file, which is a Mac-centric, very similar to a WAV file. It's an uncompressed file. So then I bring that into iTunes, compress it to an MP3, and add the show notes, the ID3 tags, etc. there. Head over to trinitydigitalmedia.com where I add in the show notes and everything there. Then I upload the MP3 to Libsyn, who hosts the audio, and upload the video again to YouTube. So then I take the video from YouTube, embed that on my site, also take the audio from Libsyn, put that into the podcasting plugin that I use, which is actually PodPress by Blueberry, a competitor to Libsyn, but they work fine together. I put that in there, and then I also put in the video file for the video podcast, hit save draft, and then I go ahead and publish it. So that's basically what I do. Now, all that takes a few hours. It takes about an hour to record, edit, and export the video. Then I've got all those as sundry things, so probably another hour. I also forgot to mention that I try and get a good video thumbnail. Most of the time I get those from photopen.com. They're Creative Commons images, so they're free for me to use. Ideally, I would have enough money that I would just buy stock photos because they tend to be better, but I do with what I can, and you know how that is when you're in a church, that sometimes you just don't have the budget to do what you really want to do, so you improvise. So that's what that's all about. So that is how I podcast, how I start with some lights in my home office, talking to a DSLR, and how that ends up being the video that you see or the audio you listen to every Monday if you're listening to Tech Help for Churches. If you like this content, head over to trinitydigitalmedia.com and just leave a comment under the video. Tell me you like it, tell me ways that I can improve. Either way, I don't care what you do, just give me some feedback and we can interact there. Also sign up for my email newsletter while you're there, or pick up something from my store. Until next time, this is Paul Allen Clifford with trinitydigitalmedia.com. Go out and change eternity.